Welcome back. So, up to this point, we have learned str is an ordered sequence of characters, right? It's essentially a piece of text where we can write our names, passwords, paragraphs, and sentences. And strings underneath the hood are stored in memory. And as I said, as an ordered sequence of characters. Like, for an example, if I had the string like, let me say, me, me, me. Okay, then this will be stored in our computer's memory in an order. So it'll be stored in a place of memory. And after that place and memory, it will be stored. Then the space will be stored again, and then M and then space, henceforth. So if you think of a bookshelf, each one of these is ordered in a different part of the bookshelf, but one after another. And the way we can think about this, like the M is stored in a location 0, we just put here, and E is stored in a location 1, and space is stored in a location 2, M is again stored in the 3, E is stored in 4, again 5, 6, 7. So you can see here, M is stored in the location 0. Likewise, like if you come to the last one, E is stored in the location 7. When we ask the computer, hey, I want to grab this string, we know that, hey, we are going to look in the shelf 0 to 7. Now, why is this important? Because one of the most useful things you can do with strings is to access different parts of the string using its what we call an index. So for example, when you have a string and let's call a variable, let's say a piece of string called selfish. Let me write here. Selfish has me, right? And I have already commented this out here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just like this, make sure it's aligned, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say selfish and then square brackets. Uh, and then square brackets 0, square bracket 0. Now when I run this, let me just come from top so that, yeah, so you can see here when I run this selfish index 0, it just appeared a letter M here, which is a placeholder of 0. So I'm telling the computer that, hey, grab this, uh, grab this index 0, and which is having a letter M. Now, similarly, if I just make, if I write something like selfish, and then I just take a value 7, then it appears a letter E, that you can see the placeholder, the index of selfish is at position 7, right? So it just grabbed the letter E. But when I'm entering a selfish here, print selfish, what do you think it will happen here? It will grab the entire string me. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to grab from the bookshelf index of 0 all the way to 7. Very cool. And this concept you're going to explore throughout the course, and you're going to see why it's important very soon. But using this knowledge, we can do a lot of string manipulation. And Python has this unique feature that we are going to talk about right now, and that allows us to grab different pieces of text. So let's have a look here. The rule here is when we use square brackets in Python, the first item that we put between the square brackets is what we call the start. Let me just write here. And then it takes the value stop, and then it just takes something called step over. Start is, hey, where do you want me to look? In our case, we said we wanted to look at 0, so we got in. We wanted to look at 7, so we got it. But then there is an extra thing that we can do. If you do a column here, we also have the option to say that, hey, where to stop. What does that mean? Well, if I do something, and you know what, let's change this to 0. 0 and 2. So here we get me. It starts with the position 2, position indexing 0. That means indexing 0 is m, and it ends at 2, 0, 1, 2. You need to be very conscious on this when you're putting it, because it won't take the upper position. It just ends at the placeholder 1. So it takes the value, it takes the letter ME. You can check with different permutations and combinations. You can check with respect to 7. Again, you can see it here. It starts with the indexing 0 and it ends with the indexing 6. It's not taking the upper bound actually. So if you wanted to put 8, what do you think it will be? So the E as came into the picture. Now, so there is one more thing, we call it as a step over. Basically, it jumps step by step, right? Suppose if I put 1 here, use the same output, because it jumps step by step. By default, it is taking 1, even if you're putting 0 colon 8. But now, if I wanted to put here 2, it's going to jump. Uh, what do you think it's going to be generally? It's going to jump one letter over the other. You can just see here. That means it started with the indexing 0, and it's not taking E. It will take space here again, and then it will say M. Likewise, you can see here. So it won't take, uh, it needs to jump like one after the other. So it will take things what it comes one after the other. Likewise, you can also check in multiple things. You can also put here 1, and then you can check the output. That means whatever that comes from indexing 1 until the end of the text, it's going to display. Again, you can try this way, and you can see that, you know, the upper bound 5 is getting eliminated. It takes the indexes until 4. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we got me and me, right? The similar thing we can also put. What do you think we get here? It takes the whole text me, and if we wanted to keep it in -1, it takes in a reverse order. You can see here. That means it comes from the last, and when you just enter here a -1, it takes the last value, and when you enter -2, it takes the last value from 2. And if you wanted to enter something like -2, it just takes -2, and whatever that comes after, it will take. So one has to get practice to get used to these things. It's quite simple. For now, like hopefully your head doesn't hurt with all this notation. You just have to get used to it. It's just something quite unique to Python, but it's very, very useful. Well, thank you. We'll see you in the next video.